National Basketball Association. Next from CBS Sports, the home of the NBA Finals.
The Cleveland Cavaliers entered this season with high expectations, setting their goals at lofty heights. The Cavs responded with their winningest season ever and are now mentioned in the same breath with the NBA's elite. Confident and poised, the Cavs have their minds set on achieving even more in the playoffs. Even the great Michael Jordan can carry a team only so far. He soars and scores, and even lately, Air Jordan creates. But the Bulls are struggling as the regular season winds down, needing a victory to return to playoff form. Teams from the Central Division will make the playoffs. The Bulls and Cavs are well aware that playing in the NBA's strongest division makes you playoff tough. And welcome to the Cleveland Coliseum this afternoon, and it seems any Central Division battle is a good one, and we have one today as the Chicago Bulls take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. These two teams met in the first round of the playoffs last year, with the Bulls winning in 5. And with the playoffs 2 weeks away, these teams very likely could be meeting again in the first round. Hello again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton. The Cavaliers have won all 4 games against the Bulls this season, but the important story, Cleveland, after dominating most of the league, has come back down to earth a little bit lately. And nevertheless, the fact is they still possess the best home court record in the league. Hubie Brown, why are they so good here?
Well, they're good here, but let's go back on the record. They only stuttered because of injuries to Nance and Price. They've overcome all that. In this building, outstanding defense anchored by the second-best shot-blocking team in basketball. Great transition game, putting a lot of pressure on Chicago to get back and match up.
When the Chicago Bulls moved Michael Jordan to point guard, they really took off. But then injuries have really hurt him. Craig Hodges on the injured list, the three-point shooter. He is out now for 5 games at least. And Horace Grant has a sprained and maybe broken wrist, so they lose 2 big people.
2 big scorers, inside and outside game. Without the perimeter three-point shooting, mainly because John Paxson is also hobbling, Michael Jordan and the defenses are packing in against Chicago. Now, big question for me today is, can Cartwright, Pippen, Sellers establish some kind of a low post game to combat the Cleveland defense?
All right, and a big matchup to watch today will be Ron Harper and Michael Jordan, 2 of the best great open court players. So sit back and enjoy the NBA on CBS.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Basketball Association is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Farmer Oil Car Wax, because we're crazy about cars too. And by Miller Lite. When it's Miller Lite, less filling tastes great.
The fans have flocked to the Coliseum in big numbers, and they will for the playoffs when they get underway. And right now, the lineups, Charles Davis will start for Horace Grant at 1 forward with Scottie Pippen, Bill Cartwright up front, and Michael Jordan and John Paxson. He's been shaken up in the backcourt. Doug Collins is the head coach, going through a little rough time now, the worst time going into the playoffs. Cavaliers have Mike Sanders and Larry Nance, Brad Daugherty in the middle, and Mark Price and Ron Harper. Lenny Wilkins, 3 weeks, will be inducted in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Casey Jones and Pop Gates. Cavaliers in white, and the Bulls are in the red. The Bulls are 2.5 behind Milwaukee for the 4th spot. It's going to be a long haul for them, and the Cavaliers 3.5 behind Detroit. And it's going to be tough for the Cavaliers to catch the Pistons, who are playing extremely well. Tip is controlled, finally by Chicago. A little more players this time, Hubie, than last week against Atlanta. They suited up 8 last week. They're a little more manned today.
Well, they have some help in the back court, which should help. But up front, though, they are extremely thin.
Scottie Pippen. Nance the rebound. Good open court team, Cleveland. But a turnover, and here's Jordan. Got to create for himself a lot now, doesn't he?
Not a bad open court defensive player.
The one thing that really got Lenny Wilkens' goat the other day in the loss to Boston was how many times the Celtics went down the middle against him, and that's what Jordan did there. Sanders ties the score.
Cleveland likes to get Sanders off early, trying to put the pressure on the opposition small forward.
Paxson's not 100%. He's had a sprained ankle, and of course Hodges with a leg injury hasn't responded. Davis missed, fighting inside Cartwright. Bill Cartwright.
Billy's hobbling a little bit. He has a bum knee, and they say that the major disadvantage to that is that he cannot hold his post-up position with any kind of physical force.
Neither Chicago center Cartwright nor Corzine have been shooting well lately, and of course all eyes have been on Bill. The major trade with the Knicks for Charles Oakley. They'll be talking about that, analyzing it into the playoffs, I'm sure. Ron Harper. Good move by Ron.
Well, Cleveland is a big pattern half-court basketball team. At the other end of the floor, we will see some double teaming of Michael Jordan, but Lenny Wilkens feels that Harper can get after him and apply enough needed pressure.
Pippen works his way inside. It's rejected by Larry Nance. Here's Price, 2-on-2. Harper goes right by Michael Jordan to give the Cavaliers the lead.
The thing that you like about Cleveland is their unselfishness in the open floor and how easily they get the ball to the guy who can finish the break.
Jordan goes inside, and it goes off, tipped up by Davis. Good hustle by Charles Davis, and it finally pays off for him. Great, consistent, hard work.
The threat of the shot block, the intimidation, makes you change the angle of your shot, even when you have an easy field goal attempt.
Here's Nance, great move. Sort of a pick and slide by Price, and Nance makes it 8-6 in favor of Cleveland. Also, Cleveland defensively does not double team Cartwright. They'll play one-on-one with Daugherty.
See, if you're noticing the Cleveland defense, it's packed in. It's almost back inside the top of the circle.
A miss by Cartwright. The tip misses, and there's a 3-on-2 break. Daugherty at the other end for Price. He knows how to dish it off at the right time.
See, we've had 3 semi-fast breaks. We wouldn't call them blowouts. And each time, Cleveland scored and scored easily. They are excellent all off the dribble on the penetration.
Cavaliers have yet to miss a shot, 5 for 5. Nearly 3 minutes gone by. Jordan working his way in. Great reverse layup. I don't think Nance thought he was going to go up with it.
Well, Nance was looking for his defensive man, but he was rubbed off on the pick. And when Michael gets down inside off the dribble, he must be double teamed.
And a whistle before the shot, and a foul against Chicago. The Cavaliers are going to be working on Pippen, who has a tendency to pick up early fouls.
Michael off the drive here as he passes his man and gets around Nance. Watch how Nance is looking for some kind of a double team. He absolutely surprised him by coming up with the backhanded reverse.
7-footer Brad Sellers, who has a good outside shot but disappoints Doug Collins because he doesn't rebound much, has replaced Pippen, who goes out quickly after picking up a foul. Mark Price, who's a fantastic shooter, gives the Cavaliers a 4-point lead. Off a screen, Paxson. And the Cavaliers get the rebound with Sanders quickly out to Harper. Jordan and Harper, the matchup, and chalk one up for Michael.
Wait a second, chalk up 2. That's his second steal.
Cleveland, a terrific half-court defense. That's the way they played it all season long. Jordan, though, burns him from outside, and Michael, who's averaging nearly 33 a game, has 6. Sanders comes right back. Rebound Sellers. The Cavaliers don't get much scoring from that small forward position.
Well, it's questionable for them. They try to get Sanders going early. They want to go to him and hope that he can take this player off the dribble.
Meanwhile, Jordan has 8 points, and he's hit all 4 of his shots.
Did someone say that he had to play big today? Did we cover that or what?
I think he got the message. Nance with a hook shot over Sellers. All 5 Cavaliers starters have scored, and the Cavs are up by 2.
In order for Chicago to stay in and compete right to the 48-minute marker here today, you can see in the early going so far that they have had 5 perimeter shots. Jordan was the only one to be able to knock one down.
Davis in the paint with a runner. Charles Davis with his second basket. Bulls have lost 5 in a row, and the Cavaliers themselves have dropped their last 2. And a blocking foul called against Paxson.
Tough call that time. I see Paxson there. He's frustrated. Look how the Nance is wrapping around his right arm to help himself in position versus Sellers. See, Sellers isn't using his feet right here. It's poor footwork. Nance, an excellent short jump hook shooter.
Cartwright picking up Harper quickly on the switch. Patient Cavalier offense, and Nance hits from the corner. Hubie, why did Doug Collins go quickly to Sellers instead of...
Well, he could see that they were getting the perimeter shot. Nothing was going down, and Sellers is one of the key outside perimeter guys here.
Jordan is fouled by Larry Nance going to the basket. And we'll have a timeout called by Cleveland. So a nice early pace. Jordan with 8 leads Chicago, who trailed by 2. There's a big story developing in the West, specifically the Pacific Division, where Cotton Fitzsimmons' Phoenix Suns now trail the Lakers by only 1.5 games, 1 in the loss column. That's the closest race since 1980, as the Clippers shocked the Lakers at the Sports Arena last night. Pat Riley's Lakers, frankly, are reeling right now. Sacramento really shocked Golden State at Golden State. Big game for Danny Ainge. Seattle, they're on the move. They beat Denver handily at Seattle, and the Sonics are hot going into the stretch drive. Utah over Portland. Portland still needs 1 game to wrap up the 8th and final spot, and Atlanta, they've won 6 in a row, and they're making the move at the right time.
Oh, they're getting great play from Moses Malone, spearheading them over the last couple of weeks. Dominic Wilkins has his game together. The offense is matching the defense, and they're finally getting out in the open floor. But there's only one other team, Dick, that has more wins in a row, and that's Phoenix. They have won 7 in a row.
You saw the heat pad on the shoulder of Scottie Pippen, so Pippen's shoulder must have been bothering him when Doug Collins made that early pick, but also substitution for Sellers, but he needed the outside shot. Now here's the Chicago trap that we saw last week.
Well, it's a 3-2 matchup, top of the circle type of a trap. They're looking to get 2 guys on the ball. Now, why are they in this? They're trying to hide people, and also they're trying to keep you out of your offensive sets.
Harper for 3.
On the way to break it up. I think he's to make the 3 from the corner. What I liked was that Lenny put his best perimeter shooter down there in that corner.
Jordan goes up, has the ball stripped away. It was Nance and Harper, mostly Harper, splits the defenses and draws the foul.
He's beautiful to watch on the break. He has so many moves as he's coming at you. It's like an unleashed rocket. Doug Collins knows that he has a problem here because he is getting the outside shot. He cannot knock it down. When the defense is packed in, it's forcing turnovers, and Cleveland is out there, and they are finishing the break.
Sellers on the personal foul, and Harper misses the free throw. 6 minutes and 15 seconds remain in the first quarter. Michael Jordan has scored 10 of Chicago's 16 points. And now the Cavaliers lead by 3 as Harper misses both free throws. So Chicago now has Jordan and Paxson at guard, Davis, Cartwright, and Sellers up front. They're missing Horace Grant and Hodges today from their lineup. And they're going to call Doherty on the arm. He fouls Cartwright and will go to the line. The Cavaliers have won all 4 games, considering last year when Chicago won their 3-2 series in the opening round. Cleveland is 4-0. The teams not only play today, but next Sunday. Bulls would like to come in and at least make a little bit of a statement before what could be a first-round matchup this season.
Well, Lenny Wilkins is trying to knock him out psychologically, and, you know, he wants to really put a hard loss on him here today. It's interesting to see that any time that Cartwright has gotten the ball so far in this first quarter, there have been limited seconds on the shot clock. He's got to get the ball earlier if he's going to have a game.
Nance loses it out of bounds. Turns it over to the Chicago Bulls. Cavaliers 36-3 at home. That's the best record in the NBA. And the Bulls, who were winning on the road until the injuries started to crop up. When Hodges was in the lineup with Jordan, the Bulls looked like they could really be a challenge. And
then with Paxson off the bench, they had a great 3-point perimeter game going for them, which really put a lot of pressure on you defensively.
Michael Jordan now has 12 points. He's been getting a lot of triple doubles. He has 14 double-figure games in points, rebounds, and assists. Most of them lately. Harper goes for a three from the corner. Nance outfights Sellers for the board. Rebound Davis. But Collins wants Sellers to be a lot more assertive off the boards.
Well, he looks, he says, listen, he led the Big Ten in rebounding. He's got to give us more now.
Cartwright.
Look out.
Nance. He beat his man down court.
Well, Doug Collins exasperated on the sideline. That was Sellers' man. And anytime that you're not involved in the play, you should be matched up with your guy and getting back.
Only 3 Bulls have scored in the game. Jordan has 12, Cartwright 5, and Charles Davis 4. Cartwright. They got a piece of it.
Excellent defense by Doherty that time. Put Billy right behind the backboard.
Here's Doherty. Goaltending. Goaltending called against Chicago. Dave Corzine about to check into the game.
See, Doug Collins is a little uptight over the fact that the big people are beating his people down the floor.
Jordan. That was a 2-point attempt miss. Here's Price pushing it up. Beats Harper. Great pass and a foul. Harper was hit hard, but it was a perfect pass from Mark Price.
That was a lucky landing because his head was aimed right for the corner of the stanchion, and he was able to change direction. Now just watch this as he makes his move. Look at that extension, and as the head hits, he's able to just turn it to the side and miss the collision with the corner of that board there.
Close call. Corzine has come in replacing Cartwright, who goes out with 5 points, and John Williams has checked in.
You know, in the open floor, Dick, Harper is as good as any player that we have in the league in finishing the play. Because of the many moves that he has with the dribble, and he handles so well with either hand.
Cavaliers missed the spark without him in there. I mean, they are not an exciting team necessarily. He had that excitement. Nance. Foul. So again, Cleveland taking advantage off the offensive boards. And Michael Jordan has picked up his first personal foul. John Williams came in for Sanders. We told you about that substitution, and Williams will end up playing as many, if not more, minutes than Mike.
See, Doug is really frustrated. He's hoping that his big men give him a good game today. He's seeing that Cartwright cannot change ends because of the injury to the knee. He's also seeing that Pippen was a little sporadic early, and he's grasping here. He's coming, Corzine brought Pippen back. He's grasping to try to get 5 guys to function.
Paxson hits the perimeter shot. The Bulls have not made many of those other than Mr. Jordan, and it's 25-23. Nonetheless, the Bulls are hanging in there with the Cavaliers. And Mark Price draws the foul. It's against Paxson. And that will be the penalty situation for Chicago. Paxson's second foul, and Price, a truly superb free throw shooter. Price has a chance to become only the second player to shoot 50% from the field and 90% from the line. Came into the game at 90, and he's just dipped below.
And the only other player ever to do that,
Mr. Bird.
Larry Bird.
Lawrence of Bird. Magic Johnson's right around that
Oh,
number,
yes,
too.
he is. He sure is.
Cavaliers are only 3 for 8 from the line, and that's kept the Bulls within range here with 3:40 remaining in the first quarter. And now a timeout called by Chicago.
I like what I see for Doug Collins, but he needs more consistency from his big men, a little bulk, 1 defensive rebound, and get out on the open floor.
Dick Stockton and Hubie Brown here at the Coliseum in Richfield, Ohio, and the third member of our team is also here, as usual. Pat O'Brien, who's with Milwaukee Bucks scout Mike Dunleavy. Pat?
All right, Dick, thank you very much. Mike has got a lot of titles this year, assistant coach, a player for 2 games, and today a coach. Let's talk about the playoffs right now. The Bucks would meet Atlanta. They owned you so far this season.
Well, we're just trying to get them a little overconfident for the playoffs right now. But really, you have a situation where they've outplayed us in 5 games, and we probably, as of this point, will play them in the playoffs. We have a veteran team, and we won't let that change our minds that we can beat them in the playoffs.
Who's playing the best in the East right now, Mike?
Well, you have to go with Detroit. They've been powerful. They've had a great month of March. We were the only team that beat them. They were 16 or 17-1, and they've been able to sustain it.
Thank you. I'll let you go back to work. So are Dick and Hubie and the players. Dick?
Thank you very much, Pat. And, of course, the Pistons Without question, Hubie, you'd have to say going into the playoffs seemed to be easily the best team going in. They beat the Lakers twice. They have the best record easily in the league.
They are playing great basketball, no doubt about that. They're strangulation type of a defense. They have the total game, but don't discount Atlanta. They are hot right now, and they have the veteran players and the guys that can get you to big games.
Corzine misses. Jack Haley has checked in the game for the Bulls. Price back from John Williams. A lot of cross-court passing by Cleveland, trying to get something going with Nance. Williams, offensive rebound. So once again, Cleveland is getting second shots.
Well, this is some front line. In Doherty, Nance, and Williams, you have three guys over 6'10".
Nance just jumped over Davis. Doherty got him the ball, but a foul called against Charles Davis.
Here, in this sequence, we have great hustle by Mark Price. Now, just watch this. Not only does he save the ball, they give the ball right back to him because they have such incredible confidence that he'll make something good happen at any time with the pass.
Larry Nance, who missed a couple of games with a sore left ankle, and of course you know about his trade from Phoenix, a trade that obviously helped both clubs. And also, Nance really is the kind of guy whose sense of humor you don't see on the floor. He keeps the team loose in the dressing room. It's one of the qualities you have to have that fans don't always see. Nance has it.
With Larry and with Tree Rollins, they have playoff experienced guys who with Rollins, you got shot blocking, Nance, you have scoring, and they've been there before.
On the turnover, Doherty. Ron Harper with only Corzine to beat. Great open court excitement from Ron Harper out of Miami of Ohio. And the Cavaliers are up 29-23. 2:40 remaining in the first quarter.
Now remember, we've said earlier to watch Harper and Jordan in this matchup because Michael's scoring at one end, but Harper is giving his just at the other, and it's all happening in the open floor.
Loose ball, Price on the turnover. You're right, Harper's got to make Jordan work. Doherty draws the foul. Good muscle work inside. Haley was trying to defend him.
Just want you to zero in on the release of this ball. How he can control with one hand and then turn it and just drop it in the basket. He has such incredible confidence and strength that even if he's hit, he feels that he can control that shot.
Only 23 years old, second youngest in the league to Benoit Benjamin, Brad Doherty. The best passing center in the league, but the Cavaliers are really having trouble connecting on their free throws. They have missed 7 of 11 before Doherty makes 1 out of 2, and a 7-point lead for the Cavaliers. Nearly 2 minutes to go in the quarter. Jordan has scored 12. Many people have scored for Cleveland have been their starters. Pippen back in the game. Comes off the screen and hits the jump shot.
I'm impressed with Chicago getting the initial shot. They're setting excellent screens, freeing the people. It's just a matter of knocking down that open 18-footer.
Sam Vincent now is going to talk about. Vincent was absent last week. His wife gave birth to a baby girl, and he's in the scorer's table. 1:40 remaining. Nance. And Haley fights for the rebound. He's a 6'10" rookie free agent from UCLA. There's also Will Purdue from Vanderbilt on the team. Double dribble against Michael Jordan.
For all you Biddy League coaches now, you can't get excited when that little 4th grader and 5th grader dribbles, stops, and dribbles again because we just saw one of the greatest do it right here.
Even he can do it. There's Sam Vincent, who has missed a few games. He was with his wife in East Lansing. That was their first child. He replaces Michael Jordan, and Tree Rollins, the great shot blocker, in for Cleveland. Price missing from the corner, tipped away. Here's Vincent. Sam normally a point guard, and he has been teaming with Jordan.
Watch his high pick and roll now with Vincent and Corzine.
Those are the shots the Cavaliers are going to have to make. Open perimeter shots to hang it. Down by 5. Cleveland ball with under a minute to play in the quarter.
Harper can shoot right over him. Yes, indeed.
Ron Harper now has 9 points. He's second to Nance's 10. And a wild throw. Turnover again, and the Cavaliers, leading by 7, can open up their biggest lead of the game. And Craig Ehlo has checked in He's a disruptive force on the floor, can play two positions, and can shoot the eyes out when he's on.
See, when Michael's sitting on the bench, the Bulls have got to really, really get high percentage shots and make the most out of the 5 guys who are on the floor. They can't afford the silly turnovers.
Cavaliers giving Price a breather here. Here's Rollins, not known for his offense. Maybe we didn't have to say that on that shot. 30 seconds to go, 20 on the shot clock.
3 Rollins just put Jack Haley at about 15 feet because he was so teed off that he missed that shot.
10 on the shot clock. Charles Davis off the screen. He's a journeyman, but he's worked hard, been with the Bullets and the Bucks, now playing for the last shot of the quarter of the Cavaliers. Ron Harper for 3, uncontested is short. 3 seconds to go. Pippen checks the board, and that'll do it. So the Cavaliers trying to nail down another home win, have a 5-point lead over the Chicago Bulls despite Michael Jordan's 12 points after 1 quarter of play here in Richfield.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Basketball Association is sponsored by American Airlines, something special in the air. MCI, let us show you. And by Jeep and Eagle, official vehicles of the NBA.
Look at downtown Cleveland. We're out in the suburbs in Richfield, where the Cavaliers, as they have all year, have really done well against the Bulls in the first quarter, and they lead by 5. Now, they finished the 3rd round at the MCI Heritage Classic, and Payne Stewart has a 3-stroke lead over Kenny Perry, and we'll have final round action later today on CBS. Wayne Embry, who along with Lenny Wilkins and the Gunn brothers, who really the architects of a tremendous and dramatic reversal of fortunes with the Cavaliers here in Cleveland.
Well, they made some tough trades, you know, where you've got to have some nerve and get up and get the job done, and everything has worked out with them, but they put the emphasis on the passing, the defense, and good people.
Ehlo misses a 3, and on the other, Anders has just entered the game. Bounced the ball against on the line, and so they'll turn it over. The Bulls were held to 3 baskets in the last 5 minutes of the first quarter. Cleveland managed 4, it looks like. 5-point lead. Bulls trying to make headway. Vincent. Charles Davis. Williams the rebound. Jordan with 12 leading Chicago. Nance with 10. Harper 9 for the Cavaliers.
See, when you're Chicago getting back on defense, even if 2 guys stop the ball, you must understand that you can't let the ball get into the paint.
There it is in the paint. It's Ray Rollins from Harper. Wayne Rollins, 33 years old, seeing a lot more action now. Lenny Wilkins wants him to get ready for the playoffs, where his experience in shot blocking could be important.
One of the all-time greats, 3rd leading shot blocker that we've had in the NBA.
Corzine fouled over the top. Michael Jordan still on the bench. 3 Rollins picking up the foul. The Bulls have Pippen, Corzine, Haley, Vincent, and Davis. Williams will double team Vincent. He's trapped. Haley, good move by Haley.
Well, he's done a nice job, a couple of nice rebounds. He looked for a shot that time. We have Chicago in that 3-2 trap now. The object is to take you out of your offensive sets and to hide people.
Sanders will shoot a 3 from the corner and hits. So twice they've done it. Harper one time, Sanders another, burned them for 3-point baskets.
That is the ultimate breaking of the half-court trap.
And they've done it twice. 8-point lead for the Cavaliers, their biggest. Corzine pick and roll, nothing doing. Pippen working against Sanders. Davis hits a 3 of his own from the corner. Charles Davis now with 9, second leading scorer for Chicago.
Well, he was a great scorer at Vanderbilt University. Hung around the league for 7 years because of the shot.
Mike Sanders misses a 3. It looks like a 3-point shooting contest the last 3 times down. Will Perdue, another Vanderbilt performer, a rookie on the bench, has not played yet for Chicago.
See, this group out here right now, Davis and Vincent have got to give him the points. And then Corzine, if he can get into spot-up situations, not so much on the low post.
Corzine missed. Now Harper coming back down. Rollins setting a screen. Good reverse passing. Ehlo knocks it out of bounds and will turn it over. With a 5-point lead, the Cavaliers, that's what they had after 1 quarter of play, but a timeout called. Chicago will have possession. They try to play catch-up early here in the second period.
We'd like to point out the half-court trap, 3-2, that Chicago is employing. Their back 2 defenders are matched up man-to-man. But out on the top, you see these 3 players, and they are playing an area. Now, once the ball is passed from one side to the other, we'll see the ball pass, and the trap will come. And you see the player will be trapped right here. If the ball were to go to the corner, we would see the back defensive man come out, and then the wing man come down, and they will re-trap. There will be 2 traps. Now, what they're trying to do is confuse you, get you out of your offensive sets, hide players that might be weak defensively, and then use inexperienced guys that might get overmatched in any kind of a one-on-one.
Michael Jordan is back for the Chicago Bulls, so Jordan and Paxson at guard, and up front it's Haley, Pippen, and Corzine. Full court pressure by Cleveland. They've got Mark Price back in there with Ehlo at guard, and Williams, Sanders, and Tree Rollins.
See, Sanders, good defensive player up the dribble.
Here's a pass inside. Pippen has a block. John Williams and Rollins were both there. Price. Back to Sanders. Good feed inside Ehlo. Blocked by Jordan. The rebound, Corzine. Good play by Michael Jordan. Corzine is in trouble. And loses it. Price.
When you're a coach, Dick, that just knocks you out when that happens to you. Your star player, Michael Jordan, comes back and makes his 3rd stop of a fast break. You have the ball, and you cannot outlet it.
And Paxson loses it out of bounds.
You're coaching, and you're trying to bite your tongue.
Looking for their biggest lead of the game. John Williams gives it to the Cavaliers, who are up by 9, 41-32. Doug Collins has told his team, just settle down. We have 8 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the first half. Cavaliers are trying to make it 5-0 against the Bulls this year. Jordan. And it's still Chicago ball as he tried that inside pass to Corzine. As Cartwright returns to the lineup for Chicago, replaces Corzine.
See, Michael Jordan was exasperated. He came off the pick and roll. The defensive player stepped out. He was looking for Corzine to roll, and he didn't move quick enough because he had a layup.
He has been frustrated lately, Michael Jordan. Haley on the pick and roll. Fine, well-executed play by Haley.
I want to tell you, Haley is looking nice right now.
Not bad for a high school badminton champion out in California. Here's the trap. Price goes right through it and on a runner. Tipped away. Last touch by Jordan.
If you're going to trap out of that defense, you cannot allow the dribbler to split the trap. Price just went right through it because now they have numbers on you, 5 versus 3.
Jordan has not scored yet in the second quarter. Spent the first couple of minutes on the bench. Has 12. Still the game high scorer, though. Pippen trying to deny Sanders. It's still Cleveland ball with 18 seconds on the shot clock. Bulls are 17-21 away from Chicago Stadium.
It's a dangerous group out there with Ehlo, Sanders, and Price. They have 3 3-point shooters.
And the foul, Jordan on Ehlo. Ehlo got a good step. Jordan, that's Paxson's 3rd foul. Each team has 1 team foul here in this quarter.
Very patterned ball club. They run excellent half-court sets. Very unselfish in picking and finding the free man.
Price gets a screen and hits 10 points. Lenny Wilkins was talking about he thought Freddie Brown was the best shooter ever saw, and Mark Price in the same stratosphere. Paxson way off the mark. Rollins the rebound. Now a chance for the Cavaliers to raise their lead more than 10. Ehlo goes without the ball. Jordan fouled by Ehlo. Ehlo had no choice.
Outstanding fake by Michael Jordan. He knew that he was ahead. Here's Greg Ehlo, who is one of those overly aggressive defensive guys, and at 6'6", can play a guard as well as a small forward.
He lured him right in. Cleveland has gotten out on the break impressively, shooting over 50%. And the lead now of 43-34. Taking a look at one of the big fights going on in the Eastern Conference. The number 4 spot and home court in the first round. Atlanta with 6 in a row. Has a game-and-a-half lead over Milwaukee. Chicago trailing. Looking at the rest of the way now, the schedules for the remainder of the season with 1 week to go. There is Atlanta with 3 road games out of 4 and 1 back-to-back affair. Milwaukee has 5 games. 3 of them are on the road, 1 of them back-to-back, and Chicago has only 1 road game, but they're on the outside looking in.
Yeah, and Chicago has a very difficult schedule. I look at Atlanta and say, you know, they're hot right now, and even though they are playing 3 road games, they should be able to get the job done. And the reason is because Milwaukee has 3 tough road games.
Right. And Atlanta plays at Milwaukee and at Detroit, and just think what Atlanta could do with successes against those teams going in. They already gained a world of confidence. Jordan hits the first free throw and his first point of the second quarter. Mark Price and Larry Nance each with 10. There is Mark. Looks like a choir boy, but doesn't play like one. Jordan makes the free throws, and just under 7 minutes to go in the first half. 43-36 Cleveland. Jordan is on Price now. They have Charles Davis guarding Ehlo. The off guard. Rollins setting a screen. Cartwright on the switch. Mark Price going for 3. Haley the rebound. Haley has played very well. You said they're looking for a big man to assert himself, and Haley's done it.
Playing a solid game, Dick.
Now Ehlo on the other side is guarding Jordan. They won't put Price on him. Price giving up inches to Charles Davis. Cleveland can afford that, and Jordan off the screen hits. He's got 16.
Well, with Price on Davis, it'll be interesting to see if they post them up, because Davis is playing that second guard position, and you know Price can't match up with Jordan. Here we have the trap.
And every time they've had it, or almost every time, Cleveland has beaten it with a 3 from the corner. They lost the ball that time. Davis to Jordan. Sanders back. Here's Michael. Oh, fouled by Ehlo. And Ehlo picks up his second foul, and the 4th team foul against the Cavaliers.
Keep an eye on Michael Jordan now, how he's working. He's coming off the 1 pick, and as Ehlo tries to cheat, we call that a fade. Instead of coming around the pick, you watch your defensive player, and then you just fade away and make the pass a little longer, but it opens up your shot.
Jordan on the line for 2. The Bulls are 11-8, by the way, since he was moved to point guard. At one time, they were 11-3, and then all the injuries, they've dropped 5 straight.
Michael Jordan on the line averages 9.5 attempts per game. And not only that, he knocks it in 84% of the time.
To move.
Yes. Here's your trap, Dick.
43-40. Here's Price quickly with the shot. It's a 2, but he misses. Pippen outfights Ehlo for the rebound, and the Bulls trailing by 3 have come back nicely here in the second quarter. Great spin move, Jordan. Feeding Davis. Great basket by the Bulls, and Jordan is spearheading it all.
What a difficult shot by Charles Davis. He had his back to the baseline and got that one off. Here it is again. This is a big unit now with Charles Davis at 6'7" and Jordan at 6'5" at the point second guard positions.
Cavaliers trying to get free for a perimeter shot, and an illegal defense called against the Bulls.
Here you see Michael. Now he gives a number of moves. Now catch the drop-off pass. Now watch Charles. That's a tough shot, especially with the shot blocking ability that Cleveland had. They had 2 guys try to block that one.
There's a great shot by Davis, as you
Look at
pointed
that.
out, who has 11 points today. Now let's see what happens. The Cavaliers have brought in a couple of big people, Doherty and Nance. They want to assert themselves and get inside.
Well, you see, they went to the perimeter game versus the trap, and the trap wants you to take that long jump shot.
Sanders misses, long rebound. Cartwright And Sanders, it was not a good pass by Cartwright. Sanders had a beat on it. Nance comes back and hits the shot. That hurts Chicago.
Yeah, try never to pass the ball up the floor on the same plane. You're trying to thread a needle through the defense. The defensive guys do not have to be back. That was a great steal.
And a timeout called by Chicago. They're on a 10-4 run, trailing by 3 with 4:39 to go, playing the team that has lost only 3 home games all year in this arena.
You're seated in section 244.
Back at Richfield Coliseum, where the Cavs lead the Chicago Bulls 45-42, and everybody, Pat O'Brien coming up later on the Prudential at the half. The latest sports news, including a look at the playoff picture. We'll have scores and highlights from last night. And who will be standing in Danny Manning's shoes this year as the #1 draft pick? We'll talk that one over with Hubie. And the Manute Bol legend grows even larger. Turns out he is also a pool sharpshooter. We'll have all that coming at you on the Prudential at the half. But let's get you up to date on the NHL playoffs. In hockey last night in Calgary at the Saddle Dome, Game 7 in overtime. Joel Otto deflects the puck in off his skate with 39 seconds left in overtime to give the Calgary the series 4-3. Meantime in L.A., Jack Nicholson looking on at the form, defending champion Edmonton Oilers and the Kings, Game 7. Wayne Gretzky, second goal of the night, an empty netter at 18:25 of the third, as L.A. becomes only the 6th team in NHL history to come back from a 3-1 deficit. L.A. meets Calgary. And Dick, I guess they got the return on Gretzky.
They do. Thank you, Pat. Sanders is on Pippen, 4:34 to go, 45-42. One time the Cavaliers had a 9-point lead here in this quarter. Jordan off the screen. Nance. Price not pushing it up now. He knows he's got the big people inside down. Good outside passing. Sanders misses, and Doherty has spent a lot of time on the bench since the beginning of the game. Got the rebound, and Nance draws the foul.
The second opportunities are really starting to hurt Chicago. You see the Cleveland with this big front line with when you have Doherty and Nance in there. Doherty takes up such a wide area at 7'2", 270 pounds, and he's got the beautiful soft hands.
Pippen's foul, his second, and 2 team fouls against Chicago. Ron Harper replaces Craig Ehlo in the lineup for the Cavaliers.
Very happy for Larry Nance on March 28th. He's one of the top players all time in the NBA to score over the 10,000 mark.
And Nance 1 out of 2, but the Cavaliers certainly aren't looking very confident on the free throw line today. Cavaliers by 4, under 3 minutes to go in the first half. Cleveland led by 5 after 1 quarter of this game.
See, this is what I was looking at. Price is trying to play Charles Davis down inside.
Jordan blocked by Nance. Harper, now Price picks it up. That shot blocking ability. Price pass to Doherty was too low.
Oh, yes. Look at Haley handle that ball.
And Harper fouls Pippen, but Price on a very rare poor pass for him to Doherty. That happens. We've seen a double dribble from Jordan. Why not a pass from Price?
You know, at the top of the show, we said that there would be great pressure on the transition defense. Now, here you have Michael Jordan going down inside. Watch the rotation for the block. Nance, one of the best that we have in the NBA, 5th with 2.8 shot blocks per game.
And already 3 in this game. 3.5 to play. First half. Nance all over Haley. Haley's played very, very well off the bench in this first half of Chicago. Jordan double team. Pippen goes for 3. Long rebound. Pippen hustled for it. Let's see who it's off. It's off the knee, and it will be Cleveland ball.
See, when you don't have the outside perimeter shooters to kick the ball back out to, Hodges and in a healthy Paxson, every one of the Cleveland defenders is back inside of 15 feet, so it's kind of tough going down the lane.
Nance short with it, and the rebound by Haley. Well, the Bulls have to miss their leading rebounder, Horace Grant, but it's the outside shooting of Hodges who really hurt this club with his injury. They were cooking with him in there. Pippen misses from the corner, and he would hit those outsiders, hit the threes. Cavaliers by 4. On the break, basket good, and a foul, Larry Nance. And the Cavaliers relying on the fast break to have their lead over Chicago.
And they keep pushing at you, Dick, and they're tireless. They keep getting out, pushing the ball, because all 4 positions can score. And here it is right here. Larry Nance. Now, when you say, well, what do you mean by that? They put the pressure on you because not one of your 4 guys, other than your center, can relax at any time. Everybody can run the floor, put it on the floor, and then beat you off the dribble.
And they've been doing it at home. On the road, they have been struggling since March come along. Pippen on the bench with 3 fouls. You saw Brad Sellers check in. Pippen off the screen. Oh, Pippen is in there. Excuse me. He misses the shot outside. Sellers replaced Haley. Nance pass back, runs in, and Cartwright commits the foul. And the Bulls will be in the penalty. One of the great aspects of the Cleveland Cavaliers defense have been their shot blockers, and they come from all positions.
Well, getting Trey Rollins to add to Nance and Harper, and we don't even have Williams up there, who is 12th in the league in shot blocking. So in Harper, you have a guard that can erase, and plus Craig Ehlo coming off the bench is also another good shot blocker. Now that erases an awful lot of defensive, how should I say, softness or mistakes.
Either one will work.
Yes.
Sam Vincent has replaced Pippen, so Pippen does go out. He's committed 3 fouls, scoring only 2 points. So the Bulls have not gotten the offensive productivity from Pippen, who went into the game averaging nearly 15. The lead is 9 again by the Cavaliers. Matches their biggest lead after Chicago had cut the margin to a single point. Cartwright. Foul, basket would have counted had it gone, and Bill will go to the line and shoot 2. Doherty with foul number 2.
See, in the last 3 minutes where Cleveland has been able to step out and open this lead to 9 points, Chicago is getting great execution off their plays. Plus, when Jordan drives, he's picking up 3 defenders, but they cannot knock down the open shot.
That's been Chicago's problem, but ever since Wilkins made the substitution and brought in Doherty and Nance, Nance has 18 points, 8 of them coming since he's returned to the game. So actually, the Cavaliers, while they go big with those 2 guys, certainly don't lose anything on the break. 2 minutes to go in the first half. 51-44, Cavaliers trying to win their 56th game of the year. Trailing Detroit by 4 in the loss column.
You know, it's interesting that Chicago's so much man-to-man now because they made that run and came back by using the half-court trap.
Nance is missed. Jordan coming back. Now Price is on Jordan. Cartwright. The rebound by Sanders. Very few second shots by the Cavaliers, by the Bulls in this first half. Great block by Sellers. He comes out limping as Nance is fouled, but Brad Sellers is hopping around and looks like he hurt his ankle.
Well, anytime that you go for the shot block, your major concern is coming down and stepping on another player's foot, or worse than that, coming down and stepping on the ball if it happens to be rolling on the floor. They're the injuries that put you out for a long time. Let's look at Sellers. See, as he came down, he stepped on Cartwright's foot that time and turned the ankle.
Foul on Cartwright is his second. Nance 6 for 10 from the line. Jack Haley will replace Sellers. Haley has played very well. He has 4 points and 4 rebounds coming off the bench in this one.
You know, you have a tendency to look at Nance's game and not appreciate the total package. This is a guy who is 5th in the league in shot blocking, but he shoots 54% from the floor, and, you know, he's really an unselfish guy.
A 20-second timeout was called by the Chicago Bulls. Now, we told you about the fight for 4th place and home court in the first round, but what about the last spots in the Eastern Conference? Right now, Philadelphia has a 2-game lead over the Boston Celtics, who are breathing down the necks of the 76ers, and let's not forget the Washington Bullets, who are only 2 behind Boston. And let's take a look at the final games. Tough schedule for Philadelphia, even though they only have 2 road games.
I agree with that 100%.
Boston's schedule not that tough, although they have yet to beat a winning team on the road this year, and that would mean New York is a tough game. And there's Washington's finish, including home and home with Chicago.
Well, you look at Washington's schedule, you can see that Washington and Philadelphia definitely have a higher degree of difficulty because they play key games on the road against good teams.
And we'll bring you up to date on the Western Conference important skirmishes going into the last week of the regular season in the second half.
Look at Cleveland now in their own half-court trap here, doubling the ball.
And here's Charles Davis. Rebound by Doherty, out to Price. Cleveland is running. They have 4 against 2 right now. Good no-look pass to Nance, but Jordan was right there.
See, they moved the ball so well.
Price. Loose ball, Sanders. Cavaliers have gotten virtually every loose ball in the game, and they're going to call traveling against Ron Harper.
See, Cleveland is right at the top of the league in assists, 27 a game. Their ball movement is excellent. Lenny has said over the last 2 weeks, Coach Lenny Wilkins, that he was not happy with the crispness of the moving and the passing.
See if the Bulls, with that much time remaining in the first half, can narrow a 9-point deficit. They got it down to 1 at one time there during this quarter. Charles Davis, and no second shots. They're not hitting that well outside and don't get second shots. And you may be surprised that they're only down by now, considering that. 22nd timeout, Cleveland.
Doug, I'm happy with what I'm getting. Everything that we're trying to do is coming about at the offensive end of the floor. Cleveland is not blowing us out, scoring, a hellacious amount of points. But what is happening is they just cannot knock down that 18-foot jump shot.
Hubie, we've been talking about battles for home court advantage, best record, so forth. And you've emphasized that in the first round, the home court advantage since 1984, big edge to the team that has had it.
Plus only a 5-game series, but you just cannot make a mistake. I think for the first time in quite a while, the coaches that are involved, everyone is talking about the home court advantage. And they're because of the unique matchups in the Eastern Conferences where teams have trouble with other teams, it's major, and their won-loss records have nothing to do with this.
Well, it's been the most advantageous season for home court teams. Bulls in a trap. Sanders. 14 seconds to go. 55-44, biggest lead of the ball game for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Look at Nance helping out on a double team of Jordan.
Price is the main man on him. 1 second to go. Feed inside Haley. And no foul. No foul. And Jordan is all over Joe Forte complaining. And Doug Collins as well, claiming that Haley was fouled at the buzzer, but it won't go. And the Bulls missed their last 9 shots of the first half. They came back to within 1, and then the Cavaliers went wild with Nance, ending up with 20 first-half points. Here is the last shot. You be the judge. It looked like a foul from here as Doherty and Harper were all over Haley. That's the end of the first half. With the score, the Cavaliers 55, the Bulls 44. Pat O'Brien will return with the Prudential at the half after this message.
CBS Sports presents the Prudential at the half. Sponsored by the companies of the Prudential. Come to the Prudential and build your future on the Rock.
Here in Ohio, it is the Battle of the Lakes, and Erie leads Michigan 55-44. Hi again, everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien. Once again, welcome to another edition of the Prudential at the half. Well, we're down to 1 week left in the regular season, and with a handful of games still remaining, the juggling for playoff positions is going to go right down to the wire. Last night in Atlanta, the Hawks cruised to a 125-100 rout of the Bucks, winning their 6th in a row. Dominique had 29 points, Moses 23, as the Hawks are 5-0 against Milwaukee this year. More importantly, they now have a 1.5-game lead over the Bucks for the 4th playoff spot. Detroit's magic number with Cleveland is 2 to clinch the top spot in the East, and Washington still has an outside shot to catch Boston for the 8th and final spot. Last night they celebrated Kareem's 42nd birthday a day early, a clean-shaven Magic. Then the Clippers shaved the Lakers, beating them for only the 4th time in 30 tries since moving to LA 119-107. Meantime, in Phoenix, they retired the familiar number 44 of Paul Westphal. And then they retired San Antonio early. 137-91 winners, the most one-sided victory in Phoenix's 21-year history. And more importantly here, the brightly shining Suns trail the Lakers by only a half a game in the West. Utah clinched the Midwest Division in 2nd spot overall on Friday. The rest of the West all bunched up in the middle. Portland's magic number to clinch the 8th and final spot there. You know, thinking about that, it's been a while since we referred to it as the Wild Wild West, but that is indeed what it's going to be. Well, coming up here on CBS after the NBA, we're going to bring you live final round coverage of the MCI Heritage Classic in Hilton Head, South Carolina. And to bring you up to date on that one, let's go to Pat Summerall, and here's his report.
Harbortown Golf Links, beautiful Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. And we're getting ready for the 4th round, the final round of the MCI Heritage Classic. And at the moment, this is the way it stands. Payne Stewart is 15 under. Ken Perry is now 11 under. Mark McCumber at 8. Bernard Langer and Kenny Knox at -7. And Fred Couples has moved now to -5. A couple of other items regarding the PGA Tour. Last week, with his success at the Masters, Tom Watson moved past Jack Nicklaus into first place as the all-time leading money winner on the PGA Tour. Putting record could perhaps be broken today by Kenny Knox, set by George Archer in the Heritage of 1980. 27 or less are all that Kenny Knox needs to break that record. So we look forward to bringing you coverage in the final round. Now let's go back to Pat O'Brien.
All right, Pat, thank you. That's golf right after basketball. When we come back here, Hubie Brown steps in to scout the next level of NBA stars. As At the Half rolls on while you scramble to get your taxes done after a commercial and a word from your local station. A beautiful spring day in the Cleveland area, but basketball has become an event. And so they're inside watching the Cavs and the Bulls 55-44. Where earlier we showed you who was in the playoffs, but there are 9 teams who will be in the NBA draft lottery. These are the teams who will have the rights to the first 9 picks in the NBA draft. You see the Bulls in there. They have New Jersey's pick from the Orlando Woolridge trade made in 1986. And where do you go to see some of these new players? To the Orlando Classic, where some of the most famous scouts in basketball gathered this week. Over 35 of the top prospects were on stage for a couple of nights of See What I Can Do. And all the scouts come home with notes and numbers and thoughts. And Hubie Brown, they even bring home wingspans of the players. We welcome the coach, Hubie Brown, and don't have any fanfares or anything, but welcome to At the Half.
I'm excited to be here, Patrick.
Let's go directly to your top 5, because I don't want to get those on. Your top 5, Hubie: Stacey King, the Oklahoma forward; Danny Ferry, the All-America forward out of Duke; Purvis Ellison, forward center Louisville; Sean Ellett, a guard forward Arizona; and Glenn Rice, who was the NCAA tournament MVP, led Michigan to the championship. You like him a lot.
I like him because he averaged over 30 a game. He broke the NCAA playoff scoring record. A pure shooter who can get his shot. Reminds me of a young Purvis Short.
Who out of this group would be a number 1, or is there even a number 1?
Well, I think that it's very flexible. Depends upon who's picking. You say you get a Sean Elliott, you're getting a pocket-sized Magic Johnson. At 6'8", a three-point shooter, a penetrator, can make the pass and make the big play. How about Sean Elliott in the backcourt? Say with a Michael Jordan, maybe.
I like that a lot.
Right. Danny Ferry, 6'10", the Naismith's Player of the Year. Has the inside-outside game for a big man. Could be the College Passer of the Year. And then also his dad as the general manager of the Washington Bullets.
I can hear that go. Dad, raise my allowance,
yes,
right?
Right.
You like Randy White a lot, too, from Louisiana Tech. This is a sort of a Karl Malone Xerox copy, isn't he?
Well, you know, a lot of people are falling in love with him because of his size. He's 6'9", he's over 250, a real banger with a beautiful soft touch. He could crash, Pat, into that top 5.
All right, let's go. There's the top 5. Let's round out your top 10 now and go to Hubie's next level. And here we have Cliff Robinson, the forward from UConn; George McLeod, shooting guard from Florida State; Todd Lichty, another shooting guard from Stanford. But in this group, you are putting your spotlight on Tim Hardaway.
Here's a point guard who has emerged. We're talking about a young man who's the Naismith Player of the Year for players under 6 feet. He broke all of Tiny Archibald's records down at Texas El Paso. A hard-nosed defensive kid who can really get after it.
Every year in the draft, there's a sleeper. Who's yours?
Greg Grant. Trenton State. Who's
a little
Trenton
kid?
State? Yeah. 5'7", Division III, all-time leading scorer. 32 points a game. Extremely quick in the open floor, can get his shot, and he finishes the fast break.
Hubie, thanks. Add 5 minutes to your paycheck for overtime, okay?
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your picks. You know, we tried to find a transition from this discussion to our next story, but we couldn't. Suffice to say that it's about Manute Bol and the art of shooting pool. Just when you thought you'd seen everything, it takes Manute Bol to change your mind.
8 ball. Hey!
On top of everything else, Manute is a pool hustler.
Ooh. Thank you very much. Don't get paid for that.
So will the Sudanese skinny take on Minnesota you-know-who?
But no, he's a good player, but he better not go up that high. He's not that good.
No, the height would hinder him in a pool table. He'd have too much trouble. He might hit the lights, the lamps over the table, and everything else.
I would like to see him to send me a videotape, and I can watch it at home, and then when I go out, I can beat Chris very good. I can play him one hand.
You never know who's going to show up on At the Half. In one day, Hubie Brown and Minnesota Fats. Dick and Hubie are next. I'm Pat O'Brien. Thank you for joining us on the Prudential At the Half. Enjoy the second half here on CBS.
The Prudential at the Half has been sponsored by the companies of the Prudential. Come to the Prudential and build your future on the rock. CBS Sports coverage of the National Basketball Association is sponsored by the Industrial Pool Division of Black & Decker. 7-Up, Cool Me Down 7-Up. And by the Heartbeat of America, Today Chevrolet.
Dick Stockton and Hubie Brown back at the table as we start the third period with the Cavaliers with their biggest lead of 11 points. Hubie, what do the Bulls have to do other than hit those outside shots when they're there?
Well, you see, they're shooting 39%. Okay, that's all right. But then you must hit the offensive boards. They only have 4, and 3 of them are by Charlie Davis. They are getting nothing out of their big forward and center positions.
Cavaliers have outscored them 17-4 in the fast break. That's been their pattern. And Doherty hits the first basket and draws the foul to add salt to the wound. Let's take a look at some halftime statistics for you. The shooting, 49-40, rounding off Chicago's 39. Nance has led the break. He has 20 points, by the way, at halftime. That's 3 more than a season's average. Meanwhile, Bill Cartwright has just picked up his 3rd foul. A sour start for the Bulls to start the second half. So Cartwright joins Pippen and Paxson, players with 3 fouls.
Now, notice how they keep double teaming him before he gets to half court. They're really putting a lot of pressure.
Jordan scored 18 points in the first half. He's nowhere near triple-double range. He has 3 assists and 2 rebounds. Jordan not only has to create, he has to create for himself, and without the long-range shooting and the people inside getting second shots, it's almost like a one-man gang, although Charles Davis, for one, has really played well. There's Jordan with his 20th point of the game.
I like it. The people loved it. Many oohs and ahs. Michael showed you the hook shot. It's the first time I've ever seen him post up and take a legitimate hook.
He'll do that more. The Bulls, by the way, didn't get a basket the last 5.5 minutes of the first half, so that broke a drought. The lead is 12. Sanders and Harper. Good passing inside out that time by the Cavaliers.
You must love what Cleveland is doing. They're rotating the ball so beautiful, passing effortlessly and beating the rotation of the defense.
Only in Chicago do they not love it. But they are playing very well, and that's a Lenny Wilkins brand of ball. Scottie Pippen hits his first shot of the second half. He has only 4 points, way below his season's average. He's 2 for 9 from the field.
Think of the big forward position. Nance has gotten 20 against the big forward in the first half, and Doug Collins has 0 out of Sellers and 2 out of Pippen at halftime.
Doherty inside. The Cavaliers going inside to their big people. 4 players in double figures for the Cavaliers. The Bulls have just 2. Jordan with 20 and Charles Davis has 11. Here's Davis with a pretty move. Good spin move beating Nance inside. Journeyman does not give him justice. Excuse me.
No, he's had games, Dick, throughout his 7-year career that he can put big numbers on the board for you.
Again, Doherty gets inside on Davis on a mismatch. And Doherty is just doing a number on the Chicago Bulls inside, and Doug Collins will call a timeout. Brad has scored 7 points already in this third quarter, and the lead is 14 for the Cavaliers. Well, there's Here's a look at one of the plush suites here at the Coliseum, and it does look like an apartment house if you didn't know we were at Richfield Coliseum. And yesterday at 8 a.m., look at the line for playoff tickets for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And not everyone went home happy, Hubie, but they are so excited getting ready for the Cavaliers, who have made a tremendous turnaround. And the playoffs, to most people's feelings, are much more wide open affair this year than they have been in recent years.
I find it interesting that in the media and in this building today, that everyone is going to be disappointed if they don't win the Eastern Conference playoffs.
Well, the press today was talking about how Detroit has it going better and so forth. You have to remember that, according to the Cavaliers, they're way ahead of schedule to what they were. I mean, they averaged 55 losses a year for 7 years until last season.
You know, I think I saw somebody said they're teasing us. I mean,
nice tease.
That's right. They've had such a wonderful year. But remember the bottom line. They have never played, this team, in a 7-game playoff series as of yet.
You can say that about a lot of other clubs that have hopes, too. Michael Jordan in and out. The rebound by Brad Daugherty. So a 14-point lead for the Cavaliers. They were up by 5 after 1 quarter and 11 at the half, so they have stretched it all the way through. Only one flurry by the Bulls in the middle of the second quarter brought it back down to earth. Harper inside, good move. Pippen fights for the rebound. One of the few times the Bulls have been aggressive off the boards today. Either end. Buck the turnover. Price comes back with it. Sanders left open. And again, Pippen with 2 strong rebounds.
Chicago just had a 3-on-1 turnover by Jordan, just had another one, but a fumbled ball, and they do not get the advantage at the other end. Very frustrating day.
And of course, they've lost Craig Hodges, their outstanding 3-point shooter. He's on the injured list with a injured leg. That's 5 games at least. They activated Dominic Presley from the CBA. Doesn't even have his name on the uniform, just joined Price. Fall away. The rebound by Davis. Here's Jordan, who has 20.
The difference in this game, Cleveland gets the easy basket. Chicago has to struggle.
Pippen. And now Price, 2-on-1 with Harper on the wing. Basket counts and a foul on Paxson. That's the last thing Chicago wanted. A foul maybe. Basket okay, but not that.
Great play by Harper. A very strong foul by Paxson and a smart play. He tries to get him before he gets up on. Now watch the delivery of this ball. They split the defensive player. It's a 2-on-1. Beautiful move. Now you see there's a good foul, but like we said earlier on one of Harper's moves in the first quarter, he has the strength. He's very deceiving in delivering that shot when he gets hit.
14 points for Ron Harper. He's second to Nance's 20, who leads the Cavaliers. And the foul on Paxson was his 4th. Paxson, no basket if it goes, and a foul before the shot. It'll be against Mark Price, his 1st.
Foul on number 25, Mark Price.
Lenny Wilkins, who's feels very strongly about winning here. He says, we can't let teams think they can win in our building.
He said, though, that the ball club has matured during the year and feel that they can win on the road. That's the key.
Paxson hits a 2-point basket, and they did have one of the winning road records in the league, but now they have dipped under because of their slump in March away from home.
Now, they're over, though, the injuries to Price and to Nance, which really kind of led to them staggering a little bit.
Daugherty is hit. He had Jordan and Corzine all over.
See, if I'm scouting today for one of the opponents that they're going to meet in the playoffs, I really appreciate the total offensive package that Cleveland give you. They have excellent low post play in Daugherty and in Nance and then in Williams, but their perimeter people you must honor because they all have the extended long-range shooting. A fantastic foul shooting team. They are leading the league in field goal percentage, so there are very few people here that you can cheat off of without them hurting you.
Do they need a scorer off the bench? They have John Williams, who's very active. Is that something they need going into the playoffs?
Yeah, well, I think that's a big problem, and Lenny Wilkins is quite aware of that. They need that automatic guy, the Vinnie Johnson, etc., that can come in and be microwave.
Charles Davis saves it on the other end. Paxson missed, and Price fighting for the loose ball has it. He's got a bunch of Cavaliers underneath. Nance follows it in. They're just opportunistic, going after loose balls and making the most of it. Timeout, Chicago.
They're very, very acrobatic. Doug Collins is frustrated. He's trying to get every call. They're looking for a foul. That was a double dribble right there. A dribble, a stop, and a dribble again. And then we have Price just out hustling. But more important, the forward that was on the board is ending the play right there.
Well, we've seen Mark Price scrambling, but Hubie Brown now talks about really the big part of his game.
Today we're featuring Mark Price beginning on the foul line. Notice the ritual. It's the lineup of the foot, the 3 bounces, the catch of the ball, and then the follow through. Many of the qualities are the same as you come off of a pick. You must read the most important, the catch, the concentration, and the release. Here we have Mark coming off. If the defensive player follows him, he does what we call a curl. Now, if the defensive player tries to cheat and come on the top side of the screen, notice the bump, and then he will fade to the corner, and he will take and shoot the same jumper. Always emphasizing the ritual. It never changes.
Mark Price, who is the player, according to Lenny Wilkins, the Cavaliers can least survive without. Mark Price, who was a second-round draft pick by the Dallas Mavericks and then traded to Cleveland.
It's a perfect study of you do not have to have quick feet. You do not have to be blazing fast. You do not have to jump and dunk the basketball. You can play in this league if you can shoot.
Pippen can do that. 6 for Scottie Pippen. The lead was 18 when the timeout was called, and if you look at the fast break points, Cleveland has an 18-point lead prior to that basket by Scottie Pippen. But they need points from people other than Jordan, who has 20. Davis has 13, and then you have a couple of people with 6 or 7.
Technical foul that time on the bench. I do believe that it will probably be called on Doug Collins. He has been on the baseline referee that, right from the play before the timeout.
And he was upset, of course, when Haley was not given a couple of shots with that shot at the buzzer, and he thought he was fouled.
See, he's saying I didn't say it, but, we've all been nailed many a night. And then there have been many a nights where they take it and they don't hit you for what you have to say.
There is Phil Jackson, who's an assistant coach, along with Tex Winter and Johnny Bach. So the technical by Price, and it's Cleveland ball. Hugh Evans, Lee Jones, Joe Forte aren't working officials today. Lead is 17. They have Paxson on Price. Now Nance moves to the low post. Knocked away by Pippen into the hands of Nance. And a foul against Chicago. Just off Pippen's arm. He was there.
Excellent defense by Scottie Pippen that time, but a terrific catch by Nance. That ball was deflected, and he was able to catch it from behind and still convert it into an offensive opportunity.
Crowd cheers. Michael Jordan's personal foul, but it's only his second. And here is Larry Nance. And the big play man, and the last piece of the puzzle. Actually, the Cavaliers picked him up down the stretch run last year and knew because of the acquisition the chemistry might not be there for success in the playoffs last season. They were banking on this year, and it's paid off.
Well, he grows with the team. He's very mature. He's a leader with all of the young players, and then he's an all-star big play guy.
Biggest lead, 19 points right here for the Cavaliers with 6.5 to play in the third quarter. Nick Stockton and Hubie Brown along with Pat O'Brien at Richfield Coliseum. Pippen misses a short shot from the corner, and here's a 2-on-1 again. Price and Harper, see you later. Pippen is fouled at the other end by Harper, but the crowd doesn't care. They're still going wild over Ron Harper's spectacular play.
And you know what? He made that spectacular play, okay, at this end. Here we come. Watch the toss up in the air and the extension. Now, to me, that was great, but hold it. At the other end of the floor, he is the guy that fouls and makes this play. He's working very hard on Michael right now. Lenny Wilkins feels very comfortable with this matchup, especially when Michael goes down in and posts up.
That was a matchup we told you about at the outset. Jordan has 20 points, but Ron Harper with 16 points and a tremendous open court electricity. By the way, into the game, John Williams has replaced Larry Nance in the lineup for the Cavaliers as Pippen makes the free throw. Look at that, 24-4, Cavaliers on the fast break. You mentioned at the outset, that's their trademark, particularly on this home floor. Loop it in to Nance. Sanders went out, not Nance. Davis on the rebound. Loose ball, guess who again? Cavaliers. Set it up at 15 on the shot clock.
See, that's what I like about them. They have great offensive presence.
Corzine overplaying. Turnover. 5.5 remaining in the third quarter. Big 19-point lead. Still 19 as Jordan missed a three-point attempt. Corzine on the switch out to meet Harper. Nance, perfectly executed by the Cavaliers. They kept the ball moving.
See, they get the assists because their offensive patterns always have people coming into that 12 to 14-foot area for the pass.
Jordan slices in for the basket. It was a 21-point lead, now back to 19, but another uphill struggle for the Chicago Bulls, who may have to be satisfied with the number 6 slot in the playoffs. Eastern Conference. Price hits a jumper. More important for the Bulls is how they will be when that series begins with the Cavaliers. If they lose this game, they'll be 0-5 against Cavaliers with a game next Sunday again.
Well, the Cavs are so difficult to play off the dribble. They're constantly putting pressure on your defense.
Pippen. Corzine fighting inside, gets the basket and draws the foul. On the bench, the brain trust of the Bulls. It would have been a tough afternoon for them.
Oh, it sure has. They've been exasperated in every way. Their game plan was excellent, and naturally, no execution. They just can't seem to get an offensive rebound. Now, this one where Corzine put it back up and got fouled, when you think about it, is one of the very few, and they're shooting a low field goal percentage.
Ehlo has come in for Nance. Sellers checks in for Pippen. Nance at 26 points is the game-high scorer. He's having a terrific afternoon. There's Horace Grant on the left, Craig Hodges on the right. The wounded for the Bulls.
And important cogs just 2 weeks ago when they were riding a crest and playing great basketball.
Harper nails one from outside. Ron Harper with 18 points. Hodges is their long-range threat, something they've sorely lacked in the last few games, and Hodges Grant their best rebound. Williams on Paxson's miss. Outlet to Harper, 3-on-1. And Paxson just wasn't going to let him get the shot off.
See, what's happening is that every time the shot goes up, they are releasing, Cleveland are releasing 3 guys right across half court. So the rebounder in catching the ball has 3 outlets. There we have Dick Helm on the right, Brian Winters on the left. Brian, one of the truly great players that we've had in the league with the Milwaukee Bucks.
And Helm is one of the longtime friends of Lenny Wilkens. He knew him out in the Pacific Northwest, and you know, you talked about what kind of assistant coaches work. He's been a real confidant for Lenny Wilkens throughout his years.
Well, stabilizing force for Lenny, because Dick is so meticulous in the scouting reports and the preparations, a very detailed type of a guy. But he was in the high school and college ranks for many, many years, and Lenny appreciated it, so they really worked well together. And Brian, being a great ex-player, really an outstanding player, you know, gives them that side of it also.
Inside Corzine. Rebound Ehlo. By the way, Paxson has 5 personals. He stayed in the game, and Vincent gave Michael Jordan a breather. Price tries a fancy behind-his-back pass and will turn it over to the Bulls. Jordan on the bench has scored 22 points. He can't do it all, and it's been really a frustrating time for Michael Jordan, who badly needs some help. Of course, if Grant and Hodges were healthy, that would help. They got a lottery pick as well. Vincent misses. You talked about that at halftime. The Bulls should get a pretty good player in the draft.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they're going to get someone to fit into the puzzle, because there are many talented people out there, and when you put it into the cast that they already possess, you know, it's going to be a major plus.
Harper misses a 3. Williams tries to keep it alive. into the hands of Davis. Chicago trailing now 82-61. They have not scored a basket in their last 9 possessions. Broken by Charles Davis, who has 15, and that matches the season's high. Charles Davis with 15 points, including a 3, and timeout called by the Cavaliers. 2:38 remaining in the third quarter. Take a look at the Western Conference right now, where the big story emerging is the battle between the Lakers and the Suns, who are now 1/2 game, one in the loss column behind the Lakers. Closest race this decade in the Pacific Division. Utah would get the second slot by virtue of winning that Midwest Division. Look at the Lakers' remaining schedule. Only one road game, and that is at Portland. Utah has won the division and will jump ahead to the Phoenix Suns. They have road games at Miami and San Antonio. The Miami game Wednesday is a makeup when the game was canceled because of the disturbances in January. Now the other battle, and a great battle, 2 games separate Seattle, Golden State, Denver, and Houston for the number 4 slot and home court in the first round. They're all in it, obviously, with 2 games. Here's the remaining schedule for these teams, and notice that Seattle and Golden State have a home and home coming up this week.
They're like 2 games. You know, if you get that W, you put the team back 2 games. So I look at this as an outstanding race. This will probably go right down to the last night of the season.
And again, an incredible story been the Phoenix Suns, franchise on its back a couple of years ago. They changed virtually the entire roster. Tom Chambers, a great free agent pickup. They gave up nothing for him. The trade with Cleveland, 2 good draft picks who haven't really paid dividends yet in Marley and Perry, and a great coaching job by Cotton Fitzsimmons.
Well, they lead the league in scoring, 118.6 a game. That's a big plus for them. They're excellent defensively, and then they have the 3 guys who can get them to 20 points in Chambers and in Eddie Johnson off the bench running for one of the 6-man awards, and then Kevin Johnson on the point.
Well, we'll see how the Lakers respond under big pressure in the last week. 82-63 with less than 2.5 to play in the third quarter. Darnell Valentine, number 1 in the game for the first time, backup point guard, good defensive player for the Cavs. Doherty showed fake, missed, and Corzine the rebound. One thing about the Bulls, and Doug Collins told us yesterday, he says they will go strong the whole game.
They play hard. They get after you.
Winding down to 2 minutes to go in the third. 6 on the shot clock. And Vincent buries it. First basket for Sam Vincent, who returns after missing 2. Be with his wife, the birth of their first child, a baby girl in East Lansing. Strong move baseline by Williams and is fouled. You don't hear much about John Williams because he comes off the bench, but he is a candidate, and Lenny Wilkins thinks a strong one for best 6th man in the league.
Well, he gives you shot blocking. He's one of the best we have in the league. He shoots over 50% from the field. And you saw right there what he does well. He puts the ball on the floor and can take that big forward off the dribble to the basket.
Let's take a look at some of the other possible 6th men. A lot of great candidates there. You mentioned Eddie Johnson.
This is really up for grabs. Ron Anderson at Philly having a sensational season. Bailey at Utah. I tell you, I'm going to say that for me, I would pick Eddie Johnson because the pressure was on Chambers and Eddie Johnson to do it with Phoenix because all the other players are so young.
You're high on Phoenix, and rightfully so, with what they've done. Brad Sellers from outside. 84-67. 1:15 remaining in the third quarter. Cavaliers by 17. They had a lead up to 21. They have been in control of this game from the middle of the second quarter on. Inside the 3-point line, Darnell Valentine, the 8-year veteran, hits with 1 minute to go in the third quarter. Davis off the screen, rebound Harper. Dangerous open court, as you know. Action slows him up somewhat. Oops. Deflection. See if they call a foot block. And a new clock, 24-second on a foot block. The thing about the Cavaliers is they're not going to have to change their style going to the playoffs, are they, at all?
No, because their strength is their defense and their shot blocking, which initiates the fast break and gets you easy baskets. They are a good offensive rebounding team, not a great one, but a good one. And then when they put those three big guys out there, Doherty, Nance, and Williams,
got to feel extremely good about how fast this team has come. 16 on the shot clock, a differential of 2 seconds, 88-67, matching the biggest lead of the game for Cleveland. Davis in the corner for a three. Rebound Doherty with 5 seconds to go. Harper breezes by Paxson. Scores at the buzzer. And he kind of knew he was going to make it, too, the way he looked up and put the burners on. What an exhibition by the Cavaliers. And that's the end of the third period with the score, the Cavaliers 90 and the Bulls 67, and we'll return to the Richfield Coliseum after this message and a word from your local station. Cleveland Cavaliers with a 90-67 lead. Wayne Embry was watching a #1 pick here.
Watch Brad Doherty drop step. Now as Corzine blocks it, look at his strength. See, that's great strength. And then we have Wayne Embry. Yeah.
Not bad, boy.
Not bad.
Cavaliers connected on 13 of 19 shots in the third quarter and have opened up a 23-point lead as we start the fourth. Changes for Chicago. Jack Haley, who played well in the first half, is in. And Dominic Presley, who does not have his name back in the uniform. He was just signed with Hodges on the injured list. He's wearing number 12, went to Boston College, played with the Bullets earlier this year, quick guard out of the CBA. Sam Vincent, short on the shot, the rebound Harper. You saw Jordan on the bench. He has scored 22, and I don't think they're going to overwork him here, are they?
No, and I think that Lenny will be resting his main people here also. He said that he'd like to shorten the minutes today if he can get a lead.
He has a lead. Corzine overplaying Doherty, and his last touch by Doherty turns it over. So Vincent and Dominic Presley, Charles Davis, Jack Haley, and Corzine in there for Chicago. Not the starting five that will start the playoffs, we're sure, against the Cavaliers if they should meet. Williams is guarding Haley. Nice turnaround move by former UCLA performer. Darnell Valentine and Ehlo in the backcourt. Actually, Ehlo playing a forward position because Harper's in as well. John Williams and Doherty up front, too. Trying to post up Harper against Dominic Presley. Not a bad move. Presley trying to fight through the screen. 6 on the shot clock. Presley knocks it away from Harper. 2 seconds, 1. And Doherty gets it off in time. Rebound by Davis. Good defense by Chicago. Rebounds, by the way, by Davis as Haley goes in and is fouled and will shoot 2.
Two guys who really made a nice contribution today for the Bulls. Charles Davis with the points and the hustle and the scrap, and then Haley. Haley has rebounded. He's run the floor well. When he has captured the pass in the low box area, he has scored or done something with it. He's on the foul line now, doing a very nice job.
He's worked as an actor and has done commercials. And he is one of 4 big men on the Bulls. Cartwright, Corzine, Haley. We have not seen Will Perdue this afternoon, their #1 pick from Vanderbilt. Haley makes the free throw. Mark Price getting a rest. He has scored 13 points.
Now Presley is an excellent defensive player. He was in the finals in the Tulsa Rockford CBA finals. That's why he's in good shape. They just brought him up.
There's John Williams, double team, beats it anyway with a nice short hook shot. John Williams splitting the defenses as Dominic Presley feeds Haley. Basket. No, but he'll go to the line.
There we have Williams making a very strong move. Nice catch and execution.
Lenny Wilkins loves to hit his post people while they are moving, and he's constantly on Doherty to be more aggressive so he can get it on the move.
We took a look at John Williams, and as part of the story of the rise of the Cavaliers, Williams had to be convinced to accept the role of sixth man. Another guy, Brad Hubbard, Phil Hubbard, was also a starter. So obviously this is an unselfish team. They are the way they play with their passing ability and their willingness to play defense, but also they're willing to take secondary roles.
Well, what I like about it is they fortified themselves in case of major injuries here by Rollins and Phil Hubbard being your 10th and 11th players on your ball club.
Haley against Williams. Good defense that time by Haley. Rebound by Davis. Haley, by the way, has a season and career high of 10 points in this game. Sam Vincent with 9.5 to go hits, and it's 92-75, and Lenny Wilkins calls a timeout. He doesn't want to get the Bulls too close back into this game, even though we have plenty of time remaining. Big lead.
This NBA game summary is sponsored by Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered for real draft taste. It's as real as it gets.
Cavaliers have raised their lead throughout. They're out shooting Chicago 64-48. Mostly the fast break. Ron Harper has been spectacular. Larry Nance, the big man, with 26 points and 9 rebounds. But more important, as we look at the fans at the concession stands, at the table with Mr. O'Brien. Pat High.
Who's got shots for us? You guys hungry? You want some hot dogs or something?
Soon.
You know, I've always thought of you two guys as pretty good Nerf shooters. That's Nerf, not nerd. N-E-R-F. Actually, 125,000 Nerf basketball players. They actually had a contest for this. We're going to show it to you. 8 finalists. Gentlemen, let's talk about follow-through here. As Skywalker and Bradford Marsalis and Jerry West are the judges here. Watch the follow-through on the long jump. You like that, Hubie? Watch this follow-through on the slam dunk. Now the winner, he got all 10s on that. The winner, and who thought he'd never be on national television, Greg Worley, 22, another three-pointer for you.
Pat, I could say you have some Nerf, but I won't do it. But thanks very much for coming with us. Thank you. All right, back to live action. They got to fix this microphone, Pat. I think it was still on when you tossed it to the table. Thank you. Come back again soon. Darnell Valentine going up. Doesn't hit anything, and the rebound by Charles Davis. Bulls have cut 6 points off the Cavaliers' lead. Vincent got through. Nothing doing. John Williams doubled quickly. Valentine outside. Doherty and now Davis. Davis is playing a terrific game for Chicago in what has been a losing cause. Haley goes up. Offensive foul against Jack Haley. Michael Jordan on the bench with 22 points. Coming up after our NBA telecast today, the final round action of the Heritage Classic, Payne Stewart with a 4-stroke lead over Kenny Perry. That's following us here on CBS Sports. Lead is 17 for the Cavaliers.
Picking up Darnell Valentine in the offseason was an excellent move by Cleveland. He's been in the playoffs with a number of teams, mainly Portland, and he's an excellent defensive player.
John Williams getting a chance to play a good deal. Ehlo making things tough for Corzine. It is still going to be Chicago's ball as Wayne Tree Rollins returns to the game.
It's been tough today in the Chicago offense. They keep running the pick and roll, and the roll man who makes the pick is not rolling to the basket. And Cleveland, being an excellent defensive team, just cuts off the shooting.
Dominic Presley wearing number 12 to the lower part of your screen. Picked up from the Continental League. Corzine in the traffic, and the 24-second buzzer sounds, and the Bulls didn't come close to getting a shot off.
Think about it. They're up 19. They're working so hard defensively because the die has been cast. You don't get out there and cover and do what you're supposed to do defensively, we take you out, your minutes are cut.
Will Perdue has replaced Jack Haley, and Harper goes out of the game. Replaced by Randolph Keys, the rookie, in his first action. They like his shooting ability. Perdue knocks the ball away. Valentine gets to the loose ball and hits the shot. 96-75. The lead is 21 for the Cavaliers. who have formed holds, will face the Chicago Bulls in their best-of-5 first round of the NBA playoffs. That's Corzine with his 5th point of the game. Jordan leads Chicago with 22. He's getting a long rest on the bench. No reason to wear him out. Playoffs starting less than 2 weeks. John Williams with another short jumper. That's a spot.
You must honor him at 18 feet. Plus then watch out for the drive with the right hand.
Rollins on Corzine's miss. Valentine is continued. And the Bulls will call a timeout with just under 7 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. 98-77 as the Cavaliers have built on their lead from the 1st quarter on.
In the final round at Harper Town at Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, Payne Stewart is the leader. He's 15 under par and 4 in front of Kenny Perry. And the leaderboard looks like this at the moment. Stewart at -15, Perry at -11. Let's go back to Dick Stockton in basketball.
All right, Pat, thank you very much. Dennis Rodman, a spectacular player off the bench in his own right. Next Sunday, 3:30 Eastern, Atlanta Hawks red hot against the Detroit Pistons, who have been the hottest team overall in the NBA in the last month. And Hubie and the rest of our analysts will be part of a round table with a playoff preview at the half during our game next Sunday. Just under 7 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter here at Richfield Coliseum. Mark Price has a few of those, but he's not the only one. This is a well-drilled passing team that Lenny Wilkins has, and they'll be a threat in the Eastern playoffs, make no mistake about it. Dominic Presley misses from outside. Now the Cavaliers leading 98-77, 6:40 to go. Randolph Keys, Southern Mississippi. Misses and rebound by Haley. Presley from the corner. You know, remember Kelvin Upshaw and what he did to the Celtics. Guys coming from the CBA in a situation like this can make an impression.
Kelvin Upshaw has been major, along with Klein and Pinckney, in giving Boston that shot in the arm.
So Presley trying to win his Spurs in a brief shot.
See, when you look at Presley, he's a good size, so he can play point guard as well as off guard defensively, and then he's so quick in the open floor.
Sam Vincent with the foul. Dominic Presley played at Boston College when the Eagles had some players that brought him on the brink of getting to the Final Four. Michael Adams also on that team, a great three-point shooter from Denver. John Williams, a rebound by Will Perdue. Perdue from Vanderbilt, the rookie. Vincent, Haley. Sellers does what he does best. Tipped up and in by Haley. Sellers missed. Haley with 12 points. He's got his career high today. Charles Davis has 13, a career high and a season high off the board. So Haley and Davis should feel good about things, even though the Bulls face a drubbing.
In hockey, they might pick up one of the 3-star awards.
Exactly. That's great. You're right. Tree Rollins with his second basket of the game. Cavaliers having a franchise year, breaking their attendance record, most wins ever. Presley feeding Will Perdue. And on the arm, somebody got him. It might have been Rollins. Well, at the conclusion of the game, Mr. Hubie Brown and yours truly will select the Miller Lite Player of the Game, and in conjunction with the award, Light Beer will present a check in the amount of $1,000 to the United Cerebral Palsy Association in that player's name. So here's Will Perdue. Bill Hubbard, veteran from Michigan, who was a starter till Nance came along, has replaced John Williams. Takes a special guy who's been around the league a long time to now face the fact that he's hardly playing.
You know, Hubbard came out of the University of Michigan early, was a great talent, scored, and could small forward and big forward, and then the major surgery to the knee, and he has been able to hang around many years because of attitude. He's coachable, and he can give you two positions. Total team player.
5:06 to go. 100-82, an 18-point lead.
Cleveland is so tough on the normal defense. They take you right out of what you're trying to get in the offense.
Here's Vincent. And Keys, rookie with the rebound. Cavaliers, by the way, lead the NBA in point differential. A lot of people say forget about defensive average. As Presley fouls, what is the difference between points scored and points given up? That's really the true value of a club.
Sure, because the offensive team gets the ball back every time you score. I mean, the opposite ball club. Now, they are first in point differential, second in shot blocking with 7, and then they are third in the league in fewest points given up at 101.
There you go. Through the legs of Hubbard. There it is. Nearly 9 points in point differential, and you see only winning teams have good point differential.
Well, that's because night in and night out, they can shoot a low percentage and they're going to win a close ball game because it will definitely be under 100 points because they can hold you.
Sellers working against Keys. 5 on the shot clock. Off the mark is Dominic Presley. Rebound by Hubbard. Valentine ahead to Keys. Nice touch inside by Randolph Keys. His first basket of the game with 4 minutes to go and a 20-point lead for the Cavaliers. They're going to bring in Chris Dudley, and you're going to hear a cheer because he's a fan favorite here. The big guy from Yale at 6'11" will replace Tree Rollins. Well, a decent cheer. It wasn't a rousing cheer, but a good one.
But during the year, though, he has had major minutes here. For a while, they were playing him ahead of Rollins for the probably, I would say, the first 40 to 50% of the season. And he responded. He's an excellent rebounder.
Vincent hits. Maybe not much of a cheer at all, really, in second thought. He is actually, he is their leading rebounder per minute on the team. Just don't send him to the line because he really has big problems from the free throw.
You call that struggle.
Nice. 3.5 minutes to go. Keys for the 3 misses. The rebound by Vincent. Bulls came within a point in the second quarter, and then the Cavaliers ran away from them. Fast break. Lack of a perimeter game. And we're going to have a jump ball. Before the end of the broadcast, going into the playoffs, Hubie, there are some interesting matchups this year where teams have dominated other clubs, which will be interesting. We'll show it to you where you'd be amazed at how one club has totally captured the season series in a big way. And then, you know, I'm curious as to how much that plays when you get into postseason. Meanwhile, Hubbard will jump against Haley. It will go out of bounds. Chicago. Look at those numbers. Now, Detroit trailing New York. They lost the season series 4-0. Look at the other matchups there.
Well, at playoff time, though, they shift gears. The players shift gears. You zero in on a team for a 2-week period of time. You can throw out the one-loss records during the course of the year. And then, why? Because of the home court advantage not being as high, and then also injuries at playoff time to keep personnel.
There's another aspect, too, and that is when you're playing the playoffs, it's not like the regular season when you may be playing back-to-back or maybe on the end of a road trip or so forth.
Well, you come into a town, you play a game, you got a day off, and then you play again, versus catching a plane and playing back-to-back and maybe changing time zones.
Pat O'Brien back in Richfield Coliseum as some of the folks from the Cleveland area are heading for the doorways. One who is staying and one who's from Cleveland is Jimmy Jones. I mean, how far can Cleveland go in the playoffs?
I really believe they can go as far as they want to. They're a young team with a lot of inexperience, but they've been so consistent all season. The only team that's played better than them is the Detroit Pistons. I believe they get hot down the stretch, which is our last 4 games. I think that they'll do very well.
You, of course, played on that great Laker team, 79-80, that championship year. Looking at the Lakers now, what's going on out there, Jimmy?
I just think the other teams in the division, like Golden State and, of course, Phoenix, are better. So they're not getting those victories were a shoe-in. Now those teams are beating them, and it could be fatigue. 3 years in a row is awful tough.
Thanks for joining us. You look good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dick.
All right, Pat, thank you. Keys will inbound. Hubie, I want to talk about experience, not so much for age, but teams that, as you mentioned before, have not gotten to the level of playing a 7-game series and how tough it is beyond that at the next dead ball. Keys is looking inside of Hubbard. 2:42 to go, knocked away. They have 10 on the shot clock. Hubbard missed. Dudley fouls.
Everything comes from the defensive end of the floor. It's so concentrated. The teams are so well prepared that you can't beat a team because of lack of preparation and talent. You just can't steamroll people. No more worrying about time zones or fatigue. Everybody is zeroed into you, and now your half-court execution of plays, you better have more than one option off of the play.
There are a lot of teams. The Knicks are another club that haven't gotten to a 7-game series.
Well, another basically a young ball club. And it's interesting how many young ball clubs can get to the first or second round of the playoffs, but they can't get to the Eastern or Western finals. And the reason for that is because to get there, you've got to get by 2 teams of great talent, usually, to get there.
He scored, by the way, at the other end. Haley has picked up the foul, and now they'll shoot on the loose ball foul. That's why Detroit, you have to really give them so much, because they have come up through the ranks, so to speak, in the playoffs, losing to Boston several years ago in 6, then the heartbreaking loss in 7 when Isaiah, threw that ball away, and then winning last year and getting to the finals, nearly winning the title. They have kind of paid their dues, and mentally they're ready to win a championship.
They know what it is to go under the microscope of the media, the national media, the full attention to minute detail of the press when they really invade your privacy. So now pressure is monumental.
Ehlo's hit hard by Haley, who's checking to make sure Craig is all right, and Ehlo will shoot 2. What about the West when we talk about experience, other than the Lakers? As we take a look at this replay, you'll just see the hit there.
Yeah, well, Haley right there, that's a tough call, but Haley tries to make the block.
Other than the Lakers, Hubie, Utah is the one team that has at least gotten to a certain juncture, other than Phoenix or some of the others.
Well, Phoenix and Utah are the only 2 teams to beat LA 3 times this year. Both of them have high percentages in the conference like LA. But Phoenix is just ahead of Utah in wins and losses. And Phoenix has lost a couple of, I think, the last game by 2 in LA. So I think that they match up well. And I like what I heard the other day. A guy said, how do you sum up Phoenix? They get their points night in and night out. And when a team does that, they're going to be tough at playoffs.
And they beat you off the dribbles. They have a lot of guys that can do that.
Well, that's what we're seeing here today. Big difference between the 2 teams. When the Chicago offense bogs down, no perimeter game, but then nobody outside of Michael Jordan who can beat them off the dribble. With Cleveland, anytime the shot blocks down, whoever has the basketball beats this guy off the dribble and makes something happen.
Big advantage. 5 seconds to try a shot with 1:25 to go. 107-84. Presley fires a 3 and misses at the buzzer. Lead pass. Ehlo will get to it. 109-84. 25-point lead by the Cleveland Cavaliers, who will go 5-0 against the Bulls. With one more game to play next Sunday against the teams in Chicago Stadium. But that game really will be meaningless because the Cavaliers really have nothing to prove anymore against Chicago. But what a difference a year makes, because last year it was the Bulls who had the extra edge in the best of 5. That's Will Perdue running the court nicely with under a minute to go.
How about the roller coaster ride of an NBA season? Just 2 weeks ago, the Chicago Bulls were so upbeat, playing great basketball, and then boom, injuries just put them back. And no matter what happened, they just seem to have one thing after another hurting the ball club.
Vincent follows on Presley's miss with 33 seconds. And the amazing thing is that Detroit has played well despite Isaiah Thomas's injury. He's playing, but he is not nearly as effective as he would want to be.
Yes, but they are 9 deep. When you can go and take John Long off the bench and step him in to play with Dumars and Vinnie Johnson, you're playing with some great experience and guys who have been there.
Sellers with the layup. And of course, you mentioned a guy, Joe Dumars, who may be the most underrated great player in the NBA today, who can play defense, score, either guard position, quiet, just plays solid ball. Hubbard gets the basket with 3 seconds remaining. All 12 Cavaliers scored this afternoon, and a big win for Cleveland, an easy win, we might add. 111-92 over the Chicago Bulls, and Michael Jordan sat out the 4th quarter, ended up with 22 points to lead the Bulls, who have now lost their 6th straight game and have to take stock going into the playoffs. But for the Cavaliers, they're looking up. Cleveland Cavaliers have defeated the Chicago Bulls 111-92 here before 19,901 here at Richfield Coliseum. And our Miller Lite player of the game is Larry Nance, who scored 26 points, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks. And when he came in the second quarter, he scored 10 points to finish up the quarter and really open up the game for the Cavaliers. And Miller is proud to present a check in the amount of $1,000 to the United Cerebral Palsy Association on behalf of Larry Nance. Well, you've been talking about the Cavaliers and how well they've done, and they can beat you off the dribble, but it was the willingness to play defense and to be unselfish, and that's a Lenny Wilkens trait, and apparently he imbued the team with that.
Well, Lenny being the third leading assist guy in the history of this game, you know, he forces the young players to appreciate making the pass and giving another player a higher percentage shot. 5 of their top 6 players are shooting over 50%, and that is teamwork.
Knock on wood. Let's take a look now if the season were to end today, and it does a week from now, the way the Eastern Conference Series would be. Detroit would draw Boston, Milwaukee, Atlanta on the upper half, Philadelphia, New York, and Chicago and Cleveland on the bottom. Now, Boston has not beaten a winning team on the road all year, and Detroit's awfully tough there. Milwaukee, Atlanta is a good race. Philadelphia, New York. You mentioned how the 76ers have beaten the Knicks twice at Madison Square Garden, and then this matchup. Your thought?
Well, I like it because I think that Boston has played extremely well at home this year. They have an excellent home court record. Milwaukee, even though Atlanta seems to own them right now, they have great playoff experience on that ball club, and they play good defense, so I wouldn't count them out. That could be a great series.
Well, last year Atlanta beat Milwaukee by winning that 5th and deciding game, and that's why Mike Fratello told us last week he wants that home court advantage for that first game. Want to remind you shortly, final round action in the Heritage Classic coming up. Pat Summerall and company will have that for you. We've told you about the great numbers by Larry Nance, our Miller MVP today. Mark Price with 13 points and 11 assists joins Larry with our Pat O'Brien. Pat?
All right, Dick, thank you very much. You wanted to say hi to Mom, so we'll do it. Get that out of the way.
I just want to say hi, Mom, and I love you.
All right, now we're ready. Are you guys in your playoff form now? The little mini slump is over, and you're down to business now.
Yeah, I would like to think so. We really played well tonight. We got the ball out to Mark and Harp. And we do that, we get our running game going, and that's playoff form.
How important is home court advantage? It's a stupid question with this team, I know.
Yeah, it's very important to us because, you know, we're a young team, but we do love playing here. We got this great crowd. So we're going to need the crowd behind us coming into the playoffs, so it's very important to us.
Mark, let me ask you a question about the rest of the season. You have 3 games left, one with Detroit. Can you guys catch Detroit?
Well, you know, nothing's impossible. Detroit's playing real well right now, however. We have one more game with them, and, you know, it's not over till I look in the paper and see that X that they've clinched it, but you know, it's probably going to be tough at this point with only 3 games left, but, you know, we're not worried about that right now. We're just worried about getting well and playing well in the playoffs.
If you catch Detroit, you'll meet Boston. Right now, you'll meet Chicago. Any worries about them? You own them this season.
Well, we've played well against Chicago. You know, a lot of them have been close games that have gone down to the wires, so, you know, they're a dangerous team, especially with Michael Jordan.
Any chance of you guys going in overconfident over Chicago?
I don't think so, because I think we played them last year in the playoffs, and we remember losing to them, and so I think that's going to be in the back of our minds.
All right, thank you very much. Good luck. We'll see you guys during the playoffs, all right? A confident team today as the Cavaliers beat the Bulls, and we'll be back with more from Richfield after this. Stay with us.
Back here at Richfield Coliseum, and you know, we've talked about players who are not as appreciated as some others might be, Joe Dumars being one. I personally appreciate Hubie Brown very much. He would not be on my underappreciated team by any stretch of the imagination. But Hubie, you've thought about some of the players who would make your squad.
Oh, I love these 2 players right here. Fat Lever fills up every column night in and night out. Joe Dumars, it doesn't make a bit of difference whether Joe's playing point guard or second guard. He's a defensive stopper and a big scorer. Big play guy that Chuck can count on night in and night out. This guy, you talk about intimidation. Every year, he's right there in the shot blocking, and they never count because there is no statistic for how many times he changes your shot or he keeps you out of the lane. Larry Kristowiak. This allowed Terry Cummings to change his game this year, and he felt that all-star time that he was full of zip. Larry making a great job defensively as well as on the boards. John Williams plays 3 positions for the Bullets. He's been the ace in the hole, big forward, center, even small forward, and they couldn't do it
and content.
I like them all, Hubie, and just to put in perspective for the Cavaliers to catch Detroit, if Cleveland were to win all 3 remaining games, the Pistons would have to lose 4 of their last 5, and that's not likely to happen. But the Cavaliers will go into the playoffs really doing extremely well. So that's the story here. For Hubie Brown and Pat O'Brien, this is Dick Stockton saying so long from the Richfield Coliseum, where the Cavaliers have beaten the Bulls 111-92. The NBA on CBS continues next Sunday as the Atlanta Hawks clash with the Detroit Pistons at 3:30 Eastern. But coming up next, it's the final round of the MCI Heritage Classic.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Basketball Association has been sponsored by Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered draft taste is as real as it gets. Miller Brewing is the exclusive beer sponsor of today's telecast. Burger King, where we do it like you'd do it. And by Dodge Cars and Trucks, on the street or off the road. It's a new spirit of Dodge.
Is a presentation of CBS Sports.